pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call to order the August 8th, 2024 meeting of the Board of Regents. Roll call, please.
Regent Adidam.
Here.
Regent Devaraju.
Here.
Regent Herbin.
Here.
Regent Schroeder.
Here.
Regent Clare. Here. Regent Kenny.
Here.
Regent O'Connor.
Here.
Regent Schaefer.
Here.
Regent Scheer.
Here.
Regent Stark.
Here.
Regent Whites.
Here.
Regent Wilmot.
Here.
A quorum is present.
In your materials, you have copies of the minutes from the meetings on June 20th, 2024. I'd entertain a motion for approval.
I'd make it.
Are there any corrections to the minutes? Roll call, please.
Regent Devaraju.
Here.
Regent
Yes.
Regent Herbin.
Yes.
Regent Schroeder.
Yes.
Regent Adidam.
Yes.
Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor. Regent Schaefer.
Yes.
Regent Scheer.
Yes.
Regent Stark.
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
Regent Wilmot.
Yes.
Regent Clare. The motion passes.
To begin our meeting, I'd like to invite President Gold to the podium to lead us through the recognition of the 2024 President's Excellence Awards recipients.
Well, thank you, Chair. It is a very exciting portion of our meeting. The President's Excellence Awards are indeed the most prestigious faculty honor given by the President's Office, annually recognizing truly exceptional achievements in teaching, research, engagement, and innovation. Recipients are selected after a rigorous, and I do mean rigorous, nomination and evaluation process. The list of honorees over the years of these awards represents what I believe is a truly world-class group of individuals who have made extraordinary differences for our students, for our state, the workforce, and indeed, the entire world. Last year, at this time, we pioneered a new approach of taking time during a Board of Regents meeting to honor these distinguished faculty. It was a great success, and it gave us the opportunity to be very public in celebrating the work of our faculty colleagues. And in speaking to our media colleagues in the room, I'd encourage you to look at the materials about each of these individuals because they're all very, very newsworthy in and of themselves. I believe that it's truly important that we do this, and we can't be Nebraska humble when it comes to talking about the world-leading work that our faculty are doing. The setting of this board meeting allows us to literally tell the world about their achievements. We're so pleased once again this year to honor our President's Excellent Award recipients and to give all of you the opportunity to hear from each of them. First, I'd like to welcome the past recipients of the President's Excellence Awards who are with us online today and in person. Thank you for helping to welcome your colleagues into this distinguished group of faculty. And of course, I'd like to give a special welcome to the family members, friends, and colleagues of our winners who are taking time to be part of this celebration, both in person and online. I know that your support means a great deal to the colleagues being honored today, and I personally share your sense of pride in celebrating all of these accomplishments. And so, now let's begin our presentation of the 2024 President's Excellence Awards. For each award, I will briefly introduce the recipient and then invite them to join me at the podium to receive their award and to take a photo. And then each recipient will have a few minutes to share some remarks with us. We'll begin with the Outstanding Research and Creative Activity Award, better known as ORCA. This award honors faculty members who have performed research or creative activity of national or international significance with a sustained record of excellence. To be eligible for this reward, a major portion of the work for which the faculty member is being recognized must have been performed here within the University of Nebraska system. To begin with, Dr. Kristen Olson, the Leland J. and Dorothy H. Olson Professor of Sociology and the Director of the Bureau of Sociological Research at UNL. We'll get it. Dr. Olson's research focuses on survey methodology, a field with broad, lasting impacts worldwide. Her work ultimately leads to understanding and improved survey data quality through reduction of error. Dr. Olson is widely published and has been elected as a Fellow of the American Statistical Society and a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. No small feat, by the way. She has served on a number of national task forces and panels related to the survey methodology and public opinion research. Her work shapes data collection at the highest levels and continues to put UNL and our university system on the map in her field. Congratulations, Dr. Olson. Please join me for a photograph, and I will give you
Thank you, President Gold. As a survey methodologist, I do work that supports the data infrastructure of our state and our country. Research into how to collect data from people, businesses, farmers, hospitals, patients, schools, and families with the highest quality and at reasonable costs requires working at the intersections of disciplines. I am so grateful to the Department of Sociology, the College of Arts and Sciences, and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln for supporting interdisciplinary work that doesn't fit into traditional silos. I also want to thank my colleagues Kim Tyler and Julia McQuillan, who are here today, for their mentorship and collaboration and unwavering support over the years. My department chair and dearest collaborator, Jolene Smith, without whom my research wouldn't be possible. I want to acknowledge the fantastic staff at the Bureau of Sociological Research, especially Amanda Ganchard and Kim Meyergard for implementing extremely complicated and impactful survey experiments that have shaped our work over the years. And thank my husband Brandon and our daughter Charlotte for their patience whenever mom has to go to yet another conference. The work that I have had the privilege to do could only be done at a place that has given me the support that I have had here at Nebraska. Thanks again to President Gold and to the Awards Committee for this incredible honor. I am just so grateful.
The second ORCA this year is presented to Dr. Jonathan Venestrom. Dr. Venestrom is Professor of Pharmaceutical Sciences at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in the College of Pharmacy. Dr. Venestrom is internationally recognized for his work developing anti-malarial drugs. By the way, for those of you that are not aware, the #1 cause of death around the world. He is widely published and cited in both scientific literature and mainstream media for his work, particularly in the, quote, single-shot anti-malarial, unquote, technology that he developed that has the potential for significant worldwide impact. Additionally, Dr. Venestrom was involved in the development of a nutritional supplement, creatinine ethyl ester, that increases athlete strength, endurance, and muscle recovery. This supplement was pivotal in the creation of the Plattsmouth company called Vireo Resources. Dr. Venestron has authored 31 patents for technologies that he has developed and garnered literally millions of dollars in grant funding for our university. Congratulations, Dr. Venestron, and please join me at the podium.
Do it. Okay. Congrats.
Thank you very much, President Gold. Thanks to the Board of Regents for your good stewardship of our university and to the Nebraska taxpayers who pay the bills. I thank UNMC Vice Chancellor Ken Bales for nominating me for this award, UNMC College of Pharmacy Dean Keith Olson for his second to the nomination, and my friends and colleagues for their letters of support. I also thank former College of Pharmacy Dean Clarence Ueda for taking a chance and hiring me as an assistant professor in 1987. The Lord has blessed me with my wonderful family, students, postdocs, and other collaborators. Without their support, wisdom, patience, and goodwill, none of our work would have gotten off the ground. I would like to introduce my mother, Shirley, my wife, Kim, our son, Peter, and his girlfriend, Lindsay Gage, who are with us here today. For our work in antimalarial drug discovery, foremost is Yusheng Dong, who headed up our lab's chemistry team. I also want to recognize the support that we have enjoyed with Jim Wood and Jim Hagan of the UNO Department of Chemistry. Many others have also played key roles in this work, including Pat Dussault of the UNO Department of Chemistry, Xiaofeng Wang in our lab, Eddie Zell, who manages the UNMC NMR lab, Sergio Whitland and Jacques Chollet of the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute, Hook Mattil at Hoffman-La Roche, Bill and Susan Sharman at Monash University, Sarah R.B. Barnes at Fulcrum Pharma, and Rob Ridley, Carl Kraft, and Tim Wells at Medicines for Malaria Venture, or MMV, the organization that funded our antimalarial work. MMV receives most of its support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, with a little help from their partner, Warren Buffett. For our work on the nutritional supplement creatine ethylestrin-related compounds, I want to single out Tom McDonald, the former head of Unimed, and Mark Faulkner, the CEO of Vireo Resources, as our champions. Without their enthusiasm and support, we would have made little headway in this work. Fortunately, Michael Dixon and his colleagues at Unimed have not given up on us, despite the ups and downs that we have experienced. In addition, I recognize former UNMC faculty members and Vireo Resources partners Don Miller, Sam Augustine, John Wagner, and Dennis Robinson. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to the Outstanding Teaching and Instructional Creativity Award. This award was inaugurated in 1992 to recognize a sustained record of excellence in teaching and creative work devoted to making instruction more effective. The first OTICA Award, as we call it, is presented to Fanny Tej Adam, Professor and Chair of Marketing and Entrepreneurship and the Director of the Center for International Business Initiatives in the College of Business Administration at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Dr. Adadam is always on the lookout for new and innovative teaching techniques and has worked tirelessly to elevate the quality of business education throughout his years at UNO. Undergraduate business students have several concentration opportunities that were previously unavailable before, all thanks to his recognition of opportunities that would be valuable to students. He played a key role in redesigning the MBA and the executive MBA curriculum, and in a past recipient of UNO's Excellence in Teaching Award and UNO's Alumni Outstanding Teaching Award. And Dr. Adadam has another distinction that I'd be remiss not to mention. He is the father of our UNO student regent. So, yes. So I would now like to invite Dr. Adidam and Regent Adidam to join me at the podium for a photograph. Oh yes, come on up.
Thank you, President Gold. I wish to start by thanking my guru, Param Pujya, Dr. Ganapati Sachidanand Swamiji. This recognition is a testament to the incredible community of students and colleagues who have inspired and supported me throughout my journey. To my students, both past and present, your curiosity, dedication, and enthusiasm in the classroom and beyond have been the driving force behind my passion for teaching. It is my firm belief that any student who graduates from a university without developing a global mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset, and a marketing mindset has literally wasted their time and money. I am therefore very grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow alongside my students. To my outstanding colleagues, many of whom are here, I would like to recognize Dean Michelle Trevick, Associate Dean Lynn Harland, Associate Dean Susan Eldridge, and fellow chair John Erickson and colleague Dr. Birut Sindav, who are here with me today to share in this recognition. I also want to pay a special tribute to Dean Emeritus Dr. Louis Pohl, who took a chance and hired me more than 28 years ago, I guess. To my colleagues, I'll say this, that your collaboration and encouragement have been truly inspirational because you have created an environment where excellence thrives. I'm honored here to represent all the faculty of UNO at this awards ceremony. Last but not the least, I want to thank my family, starting with my parents, the first and original Dr. Adidam, my father, who is not with us, my mother, who is in India, but my wife, Kranti, who is with us, my children, Keshava, Hamsini, and I'm missing someone, well, Ishani, Adidam. I get emotional when I think about my daughter, but I'm honored. Thank you so much for all my colleagues, friends, and the Board of Regents. Namaste.
Thank you. You couldn't write that into the script, right? Next, we move to the Innovation, Development, and Engagement Award. This award was introduced in 2007 to recognize excellence in engagement and outreach for faculty who extend their academic expertise beyond traditional university boundaries in ways that enrich the broader community. The 2004 IDEA Award was presented to Dr. Benson Idagwa. Dr. Idagwa is the Associate Professor in the Department of Pharmacology and Experimental Neurosciences at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. In only 10.5 years at UNMC, Dr. Idagwa has become one of the most productive and innovative faculty members who work with UNIMED, our technology transfer arm of UNMC and UNO. He has played a pivotal role in the development of several inventions to treat chronic viral and other infectious diseases, including hepatitis B and mycobacterial tuberculosis. Dr. Adagwa's inventions, patents, pending patents, patent applications have put him in the top 1% of all innovative faculty at UNMC. He has also formed significant collaborations with industry, having co-founded Exavir Therapeutics, a startup company created to develop long-acting antiretroviral technology that he was instrumental in creating in the laboratory. Unfortunately, due to a family emergency, Dr. Adagwa is unable to join us this morning, and so we've asked Dr. Howard Gendelman, Chair of the Department of Pharmacology and Experimental Neurosciences, and by the way, a former award winner here at UNMC, to accept this award on Dr. Adagwa's behalf. Dr. Gendelman? Are we not here? Well, then I think we can all accept this award on Dr. Adagwa's behalf. We'll find Dr. Gendelman. He's around somewhere. Next, we will present the Faculty IP Innovation and Commercialization Award, the Phi PICA. This award honors University of Nebraska faculty who have developed and nurtured intellectual property from concept to licensing or into a new startup business. This year's recipient is Dr. Carrick Detweiler, professor in the School of Computing at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. Dr. Detweiler's research is focused on developing systems and software to enable interactions of unmanned aerial vehicles, better known as UAVs in the trade, with water, fire, and crop protection. As co-founder of Drone Amplified, he has successfully transferred his innovative and transdisciplinary work to the market and is helping to save lives and protect the environment. This company's signature product is called Ignis, if I said it right, a drone-based system that allows firefighters to remotely ignite backburns and prescribe burns while staying out of harm's way and eliminating the fuel wildfires rely upon to spread out of control. Drone Amplified is also growing the innovation economy, employing a number of university graduates, including several who moved to Nebraska specifically to work with him and his startup company, and therefore expanding the high-wage, high-skilled jobs within our state. Congratulations, Dr. Detweiler. Please join me at the podium.
Already be done.
Thank you very much, Board of Regents and President. It's great to be here and to receive this recognition. I started Drone Amplified around 2015, although it didn't really get going until 2017. At the time, I was going through the tenure process and have young kids who are growing up. But yeah, it's really exciting to take something that we developed as kind of a crazy idea in the research lab. So we were talking with firefighters and they were like, oh, we actually like start fires to fight fires. And at first we thought, okay, this is going to be crazy to develop a drone system that can do this. But after some time, we addressed a lot of the fundamental challenges at the university in the research lab and realized that this could transform the way that firefighters fight fires. So it's really exciting to see that impact. We have hundreds of systems out on all the wildfires that are going on now. They've been deployed in most every state, but maybe not Nebraska, hopefully soon. But yeah, so it's really, really exciting to see the growth. We have 24 people now working for us, and It's, I think, continuing to grow. So I'd like to thank my colleagues at the Nimbus Lab at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln in the School of Computing, in the College of Engineering. Wouldn't have been possible without a lot of the collaborations with students and colleagues. New Tech that helped us transition this technology into a commercial enterprise, the ORED as well that were very supportive throughout, and then of course my family, Nola and Willa, and my wife Courtney Hillerbrick. So thank you.
Thank you. Starting fires to fight fires. We'll now honor the recipient of the Inclusive Excellence Collaboration Award, the Digital Accessibility Collaboration. This award recognizes departments and units that have worked together to build an environment where all students, faculty, and staff are welcome at the University of Nebraska. The university's Digital Accessibility Collaboration prioritizes digital accessibility and universal design for learning. The initiative has brought together representatives from across the university into a single collaborative group that works to enhance accessibility across all of our campuses. By unlocking features in our technologies that allow everyone, including students with disabilities, to participate in learning more fully, the collaborative is helping to make the University of Nebraska a place where every student, every staff, and every faculty member can interact, learn, and work successfully. Nick Monk, Director of the Center for Transformational Teaching at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, is here to accept this award and share comments on behalf of the Digital Accessibility Collaborative. Dr. Monk, at this time, I would invite you and your colleagues to join me to receive this award, take a photo, and share your comments. So please join us.
Thank you very much. On the second photo. That would be very kind. I might drop that. So thank you to everyone for this honour. I feel deeply fraudulent, having done none of the work, merely not stopped it happening. So thank you again, and it really is with immense pride and gratitude that I accept this award on behalf of all the remarkable individuals and units involved in this collaboration. This project has truly been collaborative, and I want to acknowledge all the units that played a crucial role in the success and are being honoured with this award today. So the Centre for Transformative Teaching, my own unit, Central Information Technology, Academic Technology and Enterprise Services, Institutional Equity and Compliance, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Services for Students with Disabilities, and University Libraries. It's a wonderful thing to see all our units united with a common goal of ensuring that all students, regardless of ability, have equal opportunities to interact, learn, and succeed. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the Academic Solutions Council under the leadership of Amy Goodburn. Their visionary leadership has been instrumental in ensuring that all of our instructors are trained on accessibility basics, paving the way for us to create more inclusive courses for all our students, including those with disabilities. I'm delighted to see that the forward-thinking nature of our collaboration has successfully positioned our institution to take the initial steps toward meeting the new federal accessibility mandates for all digital content under Title II. The spirit of this collaborative effort truly captures our institution's aspiration for every person and every interaction to matter. Thank you once again for this honour. Together we are making a difference, and I am excited to see what we will achieve next.
Now for our final award of the morning, and that is the University-wide Departmental Teaching Award. This year's recipient is the Physical Therapy Program at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Housed within UNMC's College of Allied Health Professions, the Physical Therapy Department offers a 3-year professional curriculum leading to a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree. It is the only public program in Nebraska for the professional education of physical therapists, serving as a crucial workforce need for the entire state and the entire region. The department also educates future physical therapists at the Health Science Education Complex on the Kearney campus and will continue to do so as that program expands. Its competitive admissions program searches for outstanding candidates throughout Nebraska, including through the Rural Health Opportunities Program, better known as RHOP, and the Kearney Health Opportunities Program, better known as KHOP. A lot of hops. The department is truly at the forefront nationally in using teamwork and technology in teaching, and a dozen faculty have earned national recognition for instruction and education from the American Physical Therapy Association. Innovative methods include simulation experiences that allow students to practice in realistic, hands-on clinical scenarios. Dr. Betsy Becker, Associate Professor in the College of Allied Health Professions, is here to share remarks on behalf of the program. Dr. Becker, I'd now invite you and all of your colleagues who are with you today to join me to receive this award, take a photo, and share some comments. Dr. Becker.
Oh, yeah, no, I never know.
Thank you, President Gold. On behalf of the Department of Physical Therapy, we're excited, we're proud, we're humbled to be part of the President's Excellence Awards and accept the department-wide teaching award. We are so grateful. This is every bit of a we award. It was a we effort. And you'll see all the faces in your program and on the screens. And it's a result of the work of all the people and so many more. They told us we could only bring 6 faculty today. So we have watch parties right now going on in Omaha and Kearney. Faculty and staff and maybe some students are watching and listening right now. So I say these words to those people and certainly from them. You can read about our department and the work that we do in your program. We've won national teaching awards, earned grants for innovation. We can point to statistics and accolades. We're a small department in the big sea of the university system, and we strive to have an outsized impact. One of the biggest factors is our esprit de corps, that we are all in it together, that we have a culture of success, and it's very true, and we've been doing it for years. And our students are part of that. Our staff is part of that. Our graduate students, our physical therapy orthopedic residents, people in the community, our alumni, our clinical instructors, those who did the job before us and whose shoulders we stand on today. Our college, our dean, Dr. Kyle Meyer, who's a physical therapist himself, donors, taxpayers, lawmakers, community leaders, university leaders, the people in this room, and all the others I've missed. With our culture of support and innovation, We ensure that our graduates are ready for the workforce, ready to be there to provide care across Nebraska and beyond, to be in big cities and small towns like my own Laurel, Nebraska, where we don't have to drive long distances to get care or wait weeks for appointments to see a physical therapist. Chances are you or someone you love will need physical therapy in your lives. You might not know when, but when you do, one of our graduates will be ready. Thank you for helping us be a part of this esprit de corps. Thank you for the award, and we share it with you.
So congratulations again to all of the 2024 recipients of the President's Excellent Awards. I think you can see from the faculty and from the department and the groups that we've recognized today that the University of Nebraska is indeed home to some of the world's most talented, creative, and dedicated individuals. We're incredibly fortunate to have them leading our students and serving our state and building our future. Thank you to our award recipients for joining us. Thank you to the family members, friends, and colleagues who are here in person and those watch groups online to celebrate these extraordinary achievements. Mr. Chairman, I turn the program back to you, sir.
Thank you, President Gold. I want to add my congratulations on behalf of the board to all the award winners. Thank you for your great work and your commitment to the University of Nebraska. While you are welcome to stay for the balance of our meeting, we understand that you may have other things to do. If that's the case, we'll take a moment to allow you to exit at this time with you, whoever you choose to take with you. At each of the Board of Regents meeting, we also take time to recognize those persons who all too often don't receive the recognition they deserve. The Board of Regents believes that it is vitally important that we acknowledge your commitment as well as your contributions to the university. To have been nominated by either a supervisor or fellow worker is an honor in and of itself. As the Kudos recipients are announced, please come to the podium and join the Regent making the presentation. Following each presentation, we will take a few pictures that will appear on our website. The President, the Chancellor, and the recipient's family and supporters will be part of the photo.
There you go.
Here they go. morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. As we begin the Kudos Awards, we'll go ahead and we'll start with the first recipient, Tyler Pierce Panowitz from the University of Nebraska at Kearney, and the award will be presented by Regent Schroeder.
On behalf of the Board of Regents, I am pleased to present a Kudos Award to Tyler Pierce Panowitz, Workstation Support Associate at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Tyler's dedication to UNK ITS began in 2018 as a student and employee, leading to a full-time work in July 2019. He then graduated in May 2022 in Information Networking and Telecommunications. Beyond his technical skills, Tyler demonstrates exceptional leadership qualities. As Staff Senate President this year, his collaborative spirit will shine through. Tyler's contributions to projects are many. He volunteered on the Women in IT Conference planning team, facilitated the Team Dynamics knowledge base implementation, and currently spearheads the university-wide Windows 11 upgrade. He revamped student worker training by combining online modules with hands-on experience, streamlining onboarding, and improving efficiency. He completed the ITS Leadership Academy and Advanced Endpoint Management Training and was recognized with the Most Growth Award. In August 2023, he received the coveted UNK Employee Achievement Award. Andrea Childress, Assistant Vice President of the ITS, commends Tyler. I received numerous compliments about Tyler and his great attitude, customer service skill, and breadth of knowledge. He is an outstanding employee who regularly goes above and beyond to help everyone. Congratulations to Tyler Pierce Panowitz. Your knowledge, your leadership, and commitment are truly making an incredible difference. With Tyler are his husband Nate and his mother Tammy Pierce. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Got it.
Congratulations, Tyler. Regent Herbin will present the Kudos Award to Craig Chandler from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
The Board of Regents is pleased to present a Kudos Award to Craig Chandler, Director of Photography at the Office of University Communication and Marketing at UNO. For 16 years, Craig Chandler has been a valuable member of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's University Communication and Marketing team. As its Director of Photography, Craig contributes to the university's positive public perception through high-quality images. In his role, Craig is frequently required to work nights and weekends, and his commitment to his profession is evident in the outstanding images he produces and shares, usually on very tight deadlines. Craig has routinely been recognized by the University Photographers Association of America as one of the country's top 10 university photographers. As voted upon by his peers, Craig's selected photographs finished 9th in the nation this past year, and he has previously finished as high as 5th in the nation. With so much recognition received, Craig will say he is most proud of a teaching award from the Agricultural Leadership, Education, and Communication that he earned in fall of 2018 when he taught a course on visual storytelling. Craig is scheduled to retire in February of 2025. Joining Craig today are his wife, Carol Chandler, and James Cole, Chief Communications and Marketing Officer. Please join me in thanking Craig Chandler for his dedication to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Yes. Know this guy. Oops.
Congratulations, Craig. Regent Dave Aru will present the Kudos Award to Susan Blummel from the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
On behalf of the Board of Regents, I am pleased to present a Kudos Award to Susan Blummel of UNMC's Internal Medicine Clinical Trials Office. As a lead clinical research nurse coordinator, Susan manages cutting-edge treatment plans for investigational therapies and works with multiple departments across campus. Nominators praise her ability to see the big picture and create ideas that move oncology clinical trials forward in a positive direction. As one example, Susan worked on the initial cellular therapy trials at UNMC to develop a plan and process for the administration and care of patients. Now, CAR-T therapy is FDA approved for several different types of cancers. The systems she put into place for those initial clinical trials continue to be the backbone of how cellular therapy patients are being cared for today at Nebraska Medicine. Susan's nominator and colleague says Susan is a, quote, big reason why I am still here, and adds, her dedication to her job, patients, family, and friends go unmatched. She is respected as an expert and has the admiration of both her peers and the clinical research team, end quote. Today, she is joined by her supervisor, Rachel Brantley, her nominator, Mary Beth Hohenstein, and her spouse, Jeff Blummel. Join me in thanking Susan for her contributions and impact, 35 years and counting, on patients, clinical research studies, and the entire clinical research team at UNMC.
Self-organizing groups are... I don't even have to do anything, really.
Congratulations, Susan. Now, Regent O'Connor will present the Kudos Award to John Ingram, also from the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
On behalf of the Board of Regents, I am pleased to present a Kudos Award to John Ingram, a veteran of the UNMC Public Safety Office. For 45 years, John has been instrumental in helping UNMC be a campus focused on safety at all times. John is that exemplary employee that you need on the job every day, one nominator said. We need 10 more just like him. John's input is highly valued, and colleagues say that he is committed to campus safety, customer service, and helping advance processes. Said another nominator, he truly is someone who exemplifies our commitment and work towards being extraordinary. Lauded for his honesty, institutional knowledge, and reliability, John is a great mentor who sets an example for staff by exhibiting bravery, resilience, and the ability to diffuse tense and stressful situations. He serves on multiple committees that guide and drive safety efforts across both UNMC and Nebraska Medicine, and he is widely known for his kindness, generosity, and helpful spirit. Today, he is joined by his wife, Teresa, co-workers Ryan Smith and Police Sergeant Stephen Venteicher, and Associate Vice Chancellor of Public Safety and Chief of Police Charlotte Evans. Join me in thanking John for his vast contributions, optimism, and exceptional commitment to the safety and security of the entire UNMC and Nebraska Medicine community. Thank you so much.
This must be Grandpa.
being here. I'm gonna let this guy. Woo! Yes. All right, one more for me. Because this is exceptional.
Congratulations, John. Sarah McGrath from the University of Nebraska at Omaha is our final recipient, and the award will be presented by Regent Adidam.
The Board of Regents is pleased to present a Kudos Award to Sarah McGrath, Business Manager for Facilities Management and Planning at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Melissa Eckstein, Lead Payroll Specialist at UNO, says that Sarah took on new duties to support others in a pinch. Quote, I approached Sarah about possibly helping with payroll processing for a couple of months this year. With the approval of her supervisor, Larry Morgan, she agreed wholeheartedly, end quote. Accepting these temporary duties meant that Sarah needed to complete additional training to learn new tools and processes. This growth of knowledge has proved mutually beneficial for both payroll and facilities. Quote, Sarah was willing to take on these duties knowing that the knowledge gained would positively impact more than just payroll. She's able to understand the processes required for payroll and in turn address issues that arise in her department with greater understanding and foresight, end quote. This is one example of her dedication to the university and its faculty and staff. Sarah has always held high standards while working at UNO. She works with many departments daily and communicates with other campuses to ensure that her department moves forward. With Sarah today as her guest is her supervisor, Larry Morgan. Please join me in thanking Sarah for her dedication to the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Not really out of jokes, but like. Never. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sarah. I will now turn the podium over, I guess, the mic over to President Gold for his remarks.
Well, thank you, Regent Schaefer. And again, my most sincere gratitude to the board and to the community for the opportunity to serve in this role as your 9th president of the University of Nebraska system. Before I get to my brief comments this morning, because it is truly a celebratory day for our Kudos Award winners and, of course, our great faculty award winners as well, I'd like to officially introduce several new members of our senior leadership team. It turns out that none of these new faces to the University of Nebraska, but they're new to their roles, and their willingness to serve and to engage with us has been truly remarkable. First is Dr. Deli Davies, who is serving as the interim chancellor at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, Dr. Chris Cratterville, who is serving as the interim vice president for external relations here in the President's office, and Dr. David Jackson, interim provost in the President's office. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also recognize our very valiant General Counsel, Stacia Palzo, who is also serving in the interim role as the Secretary to the Board. So let's all thank these amazing people and welcome Deli, Chris, David, Stacia. We extend our gratitude to you for your willingness to step up and serve in these important leadership roles at this important time. So thank you so much. I also want to thank Chris Kaborik for his incredible service as our interim president and maintaining the momentum that is so critical during the era of transition. So I thought I would, let's do that. I thought I would offer a few reflections on the last 6 weeks. candidly, I still wake up in the morning, a Tuscan court, pinching myself to be part of this great university. And as you saw from the award presentations this morning, the caliber of the people who serve the University of Nebraska is amazing. It's a privilege and a responsibility to serve alongside them as we collectively work to transform the lives of students and all of the communities that we serve. These early weeks, these 6 weeks, have been about listening and learning. Now, I am truly fortunate to have been a Nebraskan by choice for over a decade now. It was almost exactly 11 years ago that a young man named J.B. Milligan first called me up and introduced me to several people in this room, and the rest has been magic, at least for me and for my family. But I'm also first to say that it is a great deal that I do not know, a great deal that I've seen, and I see it now through an entirely new lens of this great institution. It's also important for me to spend as much time as possible on our campuses, in our communities, talking to Nebraskans about their hopes and their ideas for this university. Or put differently, I'm not spending time behind my desk. That's what I hate to do the most. My favorite thing is to be out in the community interacting with others. During these 6 weeks, I've welcomed a group of over 200 research scientists from around the world at a plant lipid symposium, provided a keynote address to ag builders, participated in a Nebraska Air National Guard meeting, worked closely with the command surgeons of Transcom and Stratcom on safety of transporting our military, and even got to name a new flavor of ice cream. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. And I just returned from a week-long trip across the state, literally end to end of our 500-mile campus, from Falls City and Nebraska City to Scotts Bluff, and more than a dozen communities in between that we visited. In total, we met face-to-face with hundreds of Nebraskan students, faculty, staff, alumni. I met with parents, business leaders, civic leaders, educators, farmers, and ranchers, and stepped on their property. And also, by the way, quite a few Nebraskans of the four-legged variety at the Scottsbluff County Fair, where a team from Nebraska Extension was kind enough to show us around the exhibits, and yes, I did eat one of their great corn dogs. So before I share some reflections on that, I thought we'd show you a brief video, and thanks so much to our communications and media department who were able to put this together in just a few days. So, cue the video. As president, is to listen and learn. This trip was dedicated to listening and learning from Nebraskans in every corner of our state about how we can work together to create a strong future. Part of the system for a number of years, completed fellowships, and we're going to do everything we can to steward those knowledge to be absolutely sure that everyone has high impact. If you could solve world peace, we could just adjourn and enjoy coffee and donuts. 10 years as the chancellor of the UNMC and the chair of the board of our health system. He was fortunate enough to get a scholarship and work study.
Yes, and it will be interesting. Is and the lab space is set up in a way that would allow us to have a large number. So yeah.
A lot of work with NCN and whatever.
He's going around the state of Nebraska and communities and just offer support of the university as well as what he can find to do something to get back to the university. So, very fortunate.
System. I know that President Gold is likely not new to all of you, having first arrived in Nebraska.
By the way, we need to do everything we possibly can to be successful in college. And by the way, while we can't financially help you, we're going to give you every bit of emotional support. Over 1,000 years ago, actually, it's in Greek, starts off arrow and but translated into English. It's not about the knowledge and skill of the surgeon. It is about the function of the team. All aspects of surgery. I'm nowhere near not having taught surgery for decades of my life. I have to not just think about tomorrow or next semester, but I need to think about 5 years.
The ink sticks to the black and the water sticks to the white. Ink is oil-based. Water, you know.
Kids that go into HVAC, welding. And they sold it, I think, for $8,500, and they made about $5,000 profit on it. And then they turned around and used that at the time to pay.
He is currently about a month and a day or two in his term, his tenure as president of the University of Nebraska system. And he's just going to give us some brief remarks and then answer people's questions. So, Dr. Gold, thank you for being out here in the Panhandle.
Whether we're Nebraskans by birth or whether we're Nebraskans by choice, we're Nebraskans. And that means that we have the hard work ethic, the necessary humility, and the vision to continue to make this university system great.
Percent classes. COVID, of course, there was a decrease in the use just because we weren't here. And, you know, we've done it this way for ever and a day, and so we still have a very good experience with our simulator.
As I met with hundreds of Nebraskans across our state over the last 5 days, hundreds more over the first 30 days in my new role, and, of course, many more to come, one thing is clear. We have immense opportunity. Opportunity to build upon our history, strengthen our partnerships, and together to continue to change lives. I just thought you might enjoy that, and kudos to Ryan Rothman and the whole team that accompanied us on that visit. So there were several takeaways that I thought I would just share with you from my first 6 weeks. The University of Nebraska is one of the key institutions that brings all Nebraskans together. And this trip reinforced that to me. Whether you live in an urban or rural part of the state, whether your passion is for agriculture, athletics, healthcare, teaching, our work with the military, we all have something in common, and that's the stake in the success of this great university system. But what did I hear while I was out in rural Nebraska? And by the way, congratulations to our Kudos Award winners. Appreciate you. I guess first would be workforce, workforce, and workforce. It's particularly when it relates to retaining skilled workforce in our rural communities in every role possible. ongoing challenges in articulating the value proposition of higher education. Indeed, even the narrative that college education is no longer affordable or of high impact. And of course, I need, and each of you need, to be a major advocate to disabuse people of that. I heard over and over again that partnerships make the world go round. We heard this everywhere. Nebraskans are ready to join hands and work with the university to grow our workforce, strengthen our state. I also heard, and certainly deeply believe, that the future of education will require us to think differently. And as I've been saying many times, what's got us here won't get us there. And Nebraskans get it, and they want us to be on the true cutting edge and defining the future of public higher education. And whether this means leading the artificial intelligence revolution, or to figure out how to better provide upskilling and education to adult learners, to grow better crops, or to use simulation to educate the next generation of healthcare professionals, we need to constantly be innovating. The opposite of growth is clearly stagnation, and we can't afford that, and Nebraskans will not afford that and will not tolerate that. But whether it was with our ranchers in Imperial, Nebraska, whether it was in the Front Range out west, whether it was in Lake McConaughey and Cedar Point, or whether it was flying from Ogallala to Valentine and coming in low across the magnificent Niobrara Valley, it was truly an inspiring experience. And I can't say enough to the Nebraskans who took time, hundreds and hundreds of people, to share their thoughts with us. And to the Nebraskans we haven't met yet, stay tuned. We'll be back, and we'll be back soon, and we'll be back often. So over the first 6 weeks, there are several priorities that appear clear. All of these are work in progress. On this list, and probably very close to the top of the list, is the AAU. We've not missed a beat from the goals that have been set out by Ted Carter and Chris Gaborik. Great conversations that I've had with Barbara Snyder, the executive director of the AAU, and it is clear that it will take hard work, different thinking, including a careful look at our structures, but I do believe that there is a pathway forward. And much more importantly, there is no downside, repeat, no downside to setting a culture where excellence is the expectation across all of our programs, our academic programs, our athletic programs, our research programs, everything that happens in the classroom, the teaching laboratory, our extensions, and beyond. We have multiple major projects in the hopper. Many are on the agenda for our board meeting today. Bringing the Christensen complex in Kearney to the finish line and making sure that every student that wishes to train and be educated in the health professions has that opportunity. Pushing forward on the USDA facility at Innovation Campus and the companion Ag Tech building. Growth in our student experience, expanding the Presidential Scholars Program that has been so successful, expanding internship opportunities, setting the highest possible bar for our students' outcome, recruiting and retaining the very best faculty and staff. I was asked recently if it's our goal to exceed the peer average on graduation rates. And I said absolutely not. Why wouldn't we shoot for 100%? You know, I learned as a surgeon for many, many years that 99% success rate in the operating room sounds like a really good outcome until you think you're that 1% to have that devastating conversation with a set of parents. And let me tell you, while as rare as that may be, having cared for tens of thousands of patients, you never want to be in that position to go down to the family waiting room and tell some family that their child didn't do well in the operating room and they're probably not going to make it. We need to have a similarly high expectation when it comes to student success across the entire University of Nebraska system. And that means the mentorship, the educational experiences, what happens inside and outside the classroom, what happens in our communities. It means engaging our elected leaders in Nebraska and in Washington about how we can better work together to build a strong university and a state and to define the future of higher education. And we need to continue to listen and learn, eager to talk to as many people as possible, and to truly build this future together. You know, I would say one of the more important questions that I was asked during my time in rural Nebraska, and even before that, asked by the search committee and members of the Board of Regents, how can a person who spent most of their time on the East Coast fixing little babies' hearts become the president of this great university system? And I'll tell you what I learned in 25 years of doing that is that when some mom and dad hand their newborn child over to you, they only have one question. They don't ask you where you went to school. They don't ask you where you graduated in your class. They ask you one simple thing. Will you take care of my child the way you take care of your own? And once they have that affirmation, they know that their child, their family member, their loved one is going to be in good hands. And I will tell you that if we broaden that theory, if we broaden that approach to every student, to every faculty member, to every staff member, to our alumni, and to the citizens of Nebraska, and we treat them like they're our family, and they have the confidence in us that we are going to do for them what we would do for any member of our loved family, the solid future of this university is going to be unshakable. So I do look forward to sharing more reflections at our investiture ceremony, which is exactly 4 weeks from today. It should not be lost on you that I was invested as the chancellor at UNMC on September 5th in 2014. Exactly 5 years later, on September 5th, 2019, I was invested as the chancellor of UNO. And exactly 10 years from that original investiture, I look forward to being with you in the rotunda of the capital of this great state, the home of the people of Nebraska, to be invested as your 9th president of the University of Nebraska system. Mr. Chairman, with that, I turn it back to you and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you. Standing rules of the board provide that any person or persons may appear and address the Board of Regents on items that are not on the agenda. If an individual provides the corporation's secretary 24 hours notice, each person wishing to speak will be given 3 minutes to make remarks. We were not contacted by any individuals wishing to speak on a topic that is not on today's agenda. Assume that still holds true at this point in time. Okay. The standing rules further provide that anyone desiring to speak concerning any item on the agenda for this meeting, regardless of notice, may do so. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board on a topic that is part of today's agenda? If so, please come forward, identify yourself, and complete the sign-in sheet before you leave. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. There being no one wishing to make public comments, I now declare the opportunity for public comment closed. Anybody need to take a break, or do you want to go ahead and push on through now to the business? All right, let's take a less than 7 minute break. We'll 6 minute break at this point. We'll convene again at 10:20. And we'll get reconvened here. It is now time to consider the consent agenda. I'm trying to push them to get. All right. We'll now consider the consent agenda. The consent agenda, as indicated by its name, is moved and voted on as a group of action items as opposed to the administrative agenda, which is where items are considered individually and discussed accordingly. With that said, unless one of my colleagues on the board wishes to consider any of these items in the administrative agenda separately, I would invite a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor?
Yes.
Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear? Yes. Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent White?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. I'd now ask President Gold to walk us through the items on today's administrative agenda.
Thank you, Regent Schaefer. Item 11A1 seeks your approval of various amendments to the University of Nebraska Student Code of Conduct. The university's system-wide Student Code of Conduct requires that the code be reviewed at least every 4 years. The proposed amendments before you today are the result of that comprehensive review. Proposed changes to the code predominantly focus on clarifying language related to academic integrity, improving procedures, and outlining processes specific to student organizations. This item was discussed and reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve item 11A1?
So moved.
Second? Okay. Any discussion?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Thank you. I had asked some questions for clarification on page 44. And I did get some answers, but my one question would be, we do, and I guess we're required to do in-house investigations in these particular instances, but I guess I'm needing to know in my mind, do we wait for the results of those investigations in-house prior to consulting any law enforcement, or is there kind of a simultaneous notification?
Yeah, my understanding is there is a, depending on the circumstance, a simultaneous notification.
I'm okay with that then, because I just wanted to be sure we didn't have a lag, and then because of that, we have some other difficulties.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Schroeder?
Yes.
Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11A2 seeks your approval to establish a new undergraduate certificate in esports media and communication in the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at UNL. Esports is a rapidly growing industry with an audience expected to reach, get this, 1.41 billion users by 2025. This proposed 15-credit-hour in-person certificate is designed to prepare students for careers related to esports in the areas of media, communications, and promotion. The certificate is comprised of existing courses offered in the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at UNL and will be open to UNL students in any major as well as open to non-degree students. This item was discussed and reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11A2?
So moved.
Any discussion or questions? Having none, please call the roll.
Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor?
Yes.
Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11A3 seeks your approval to establish a new undergraduate certificate in wildlife habitat management, administered by the School of Natural Resources in the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources at UNL. This proposed 18-credit-hour in-person undergraduate certificate is designed to prepare students for careers in natural resources, including wildlife habitat management and conservation, and to meet the growing workforce needs in this area. This item was reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11A3?
So moved.
Second, okay. Any discussion?
A question.
Yes, sir.
Chancellor Bennett, maybe or someone could put a little color in it for me. What is exactly does that mean? Like, I spent a few days a year at South Dakota hunting, and you know how they completely manage their wildlife differently than we do here. Is that what we're talking about, or what exactly are we talking about for wildlife management?
Am I on now? I thought you were asking if we were going to take everybody hunting in South Dakota, of which the answer was going to be yes, I'll sign up for that. You know, one of our most precious resources, obviously, is wildlife and the land here in Nebraska. And so what we're hoping to do is to give greater exposure to how we preserve that, how we work with the land and with our animals that are here, and how we sort of make sure that things are as they should be for future generations to come. I'll ask Kathy or Mike Boehm if they'd like to add anything to what I've shared.
No, I think Chancellor Bennett, you hit it pretty well. Regent Kenny, really thinking about our wildlife, thinking about our working in agricultural lands. I think one of the things that we do maybe a little different, being the third largest agricultural state, is that we harmonized our wild lands with our agricultural production lands and how critical that is. And that's really the thrust of this program.
Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin? Regent Schroeder?
Yes.
Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor?
Yes.
Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11A4 seeks your approval to establish a Bachelor of Science in Artificial Intelligence administered by the Department of Computer Science in the College of Information Science and Technology at UNO. I'm personally very excited about this new program that we're bringing to you today. Number one, because it addresses a significant current and future workforce need in our state. And number two, very important to me, because it represents the kind of collaboration between our campuses that will get us to the very best outcome for our students. I'd like to thank Chancellor Lee and Chancellor Bennett for their teams for working together to make this new degree possible. Artificial intelligence, or AI as we know it, is changing literally by the minute. It is almost certain to change every aspect of our lives, from the way we work to the way we interact with each other and spend our time. That's both exciting and a little bit scary, but there's no question that this technology and what it brings with us is here to stay. So the University of Nebraska needs to be on the cutting edge in preparing students not only to work in a world that is shaped by AI, but to lead in that world. And with this program, the very first, we will be doing exactly that. The proposed program will be administered by the University of Nebraska at Omaha, but will draw upon the coursework of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's data science degree, making this a truly collaborative effort. Students in this degree program will focus on AI and machine learning, on the foundations and applications that continue to evolve. And if you have a few minutes, I certainly encourage you to take time to read the letters of endorsement for this program that we've received from so many business leaders across the Omaha area. That tells all of us that we're hitting right on in an area of major workforce demand. This item was reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I do commend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11A4? Any discussion?
I'd just like to say kudos. I think this is one of the ways that we show that we are working to the future, looking for what we need to create in the way of educational opportunities for our students to be ready for the world that's coming, and it's like coming tomorrow. So thank you all who worked on this. Thank you so much.
Chancellor?
Thank you, Chair. Like President Goh said, there are actually only 13 bachelor's degrees in AI in the whole country. The first one started in 2018 by Carnegie Mellon. And with your blessing today, University of Nebraska is very excited to introduce this Bachelor of Science in AI. And what I'm really excited, like President Goh talked about, it is truly collaboration. UNO is excited, leading by the College of Information Science and Technology in great collaboration with UNL in the data science department. We believe that will really provide the state of Nebraska a cutting edge in training our workforce in high-tech area.
Chancellor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you and the board for what I hope will be an approval of this degree program in just a moment. But I also want to applaud Chancellor Lee and the UNL team for developing this program. I'd like to remind everyone assembled here this morning and those who are watching online that this is a landscape for the future that we all have a part in, as there will be few areas of our society that are not profoundly affected in some way by the need to navigate, to incorporate, to innovate, and to contribute to the way that big data affects the lives of Nebraskans and the economy. But most importantly, this program enhances our existing collaboration with UNO and strategically aligns resources to broaden career opportunities for Nebraska students. And then, Mr. Chairman, you talk a lot about Mount Rushmore opportunities and Mount Rushmore goals. The application of AI is already impacting the areas that matter most to the university system, including transformative agriculture, global health security, national security, and more. This will continue to be a very important area that all of us will need an opportunity to join the space that Chancellor Lee and the team at UNO are in. I have an appreciation for first in time, but as this continues to develop, I suspect that most of us will come back for consideration for additional degree programs. Thank you for considering this item, and I hope that we are able to get it approved here in just a second.
Okay. Regent Stark?
I'd like to particularly acknowledge the deans in this area. They're rock stars, and we're blessed to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming.
Kenny?
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to say just kind of a coincidence that it's not just for the big cities. Before I'd read any of this stuff, our company had contacted Provost Jackson about AI and how we can modify or improve the operation of our plants. And he, set us up in the right directions that, it's going to be for everybody. What scares me is the ability for him to imitate Chairman Schaefer when the phone rings or something and trying to influence me to do something, but I don't know if Thank you.
Get in trouble.
Yes, Regent Shear.
I guess I'd just like to chime in that it's nice to see the cooperation, getting rid of the silos that we've talked about over the years and the different campuses, that having a one university system in the state of Nebraska, being able to work together makes a lot more sense than try to work individually. I want to thank Rodney and Joe for their work.
Awesome.
Chancellor Lee is finally following my lead. I appreciate her so much. She has figured out the assignment.
And I have to say that UNO has already launched the UNO AI Lab to train our faculty and staff. So we're happy to always follow UNO lead, but at this one, we'd love to just be a strong partner.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes.
I just want to say that the UNL student body is looking forward to this collaboration, and we're really excited to see this present on our campus. And additionally, like how others have said, it provides Nebraska with a unique opportunity to be innovators in the field, and especially due to the pace that it's developing in the country. I think it's a really important degree to offer, and I've been really lucky to witness Chancellor Bennett's work on this project.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to re-emphasize what Elizabeth said. I think it's so important that we start implementing AI and leveraging AI in the state of Nebraska. I know as a student, I personally have used AI and been requested to use AI to enhance my coursework. So if that's the direction we're going, we need to ensure that all students feel prepared to leverage the tools that are given to us.
Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Regent Herbin? Yes. Regent Schroeder?
Yes.
Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor?
Yes.
Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Just a parenthetical note that the Office of the President has established a working task group to look at generative AI across the entire educational, research, and engagement missions of the university to see where and how it will enhance our business and finance and administrative activities, and also at the same time to look very carefully at the ethics, misinformation, and disinformation components that may be associated with it. Each of the campuses, including IANR, will be represented by some of the best and brightest of our faculty and staff and technology leadership in this area. So this is a very, very important area. Moving on, item 11A5 seeks your approval to transition the Master of Science in Biomedical Information, which is currently delivered by the UNO and UNMC campuses, to being administered solely by UNO, which would eliminate the UNMC offering. UNMC's Biomedical Informatics program was established as a joint offering with UNO, considering both master's and doctoral degree options. However, in the past years, there has been much greater student demand for the UNO program at the master's level, and therefore it is appropriate to move the administrative home of just the master's program fully to UNO. Relevant coursework will still be offered by UNMC faculty at both UNO and to UNMC students. The current UNMC master's student, one, in this area will be allowed to complete their degree at UNMC. This item was reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11A5?
So moved.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Schroeder? Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, with your approval, I would ask that items 11B1 and 11B2, approval of the 2025 through 2027 biannual budget requests for the University of Nebraska and the Nebraska College of Technical Agriculture be considered together. As you know, we are required to submit our request to the Coordinating Commission before August 15th, and then to the state by September 15th. So this is why we are bringing these items to you today. Let me say a few words about this carefully developed proposal that's in front of you. You'll notice that it includes 3% increases for salaries and 5% increases for health insurance. This is in accordance with the specific directions that the state's budget office has issued to all state agencies. These numbers are placeholders and may need to be revised after our collective bargaining and health insurance plans are finalized later in the year. But given that salaries and benefits represent 80% of our spending, we believe that these figures are reasonable and will serve as a guidepost for us going forward. More exciting to me, we've identified opportunities to invest in priorities that will make a real difference to the people of Nebraska. First is the request for $1.5 million in each year of the biennium to match this board's investment in expanding the Presidential Scholars Program. In 6 short months since Interim President Kuborik stood up this program together with the governor, and I had the honor of being present at that press conference, as was many of you, it has had a dramatic impact. We've roughly doubled the number of Nebraska students with a perfect ACT who have chosen the University of Nebraska. And that alone is a remarkable achievement. But more than that, I know that Chris has received an overwhelming volume of positive feedback from students, families, and teachers as he traveled across the state, who are thrilled that the university has been so vocal about its commitment to recruiting Nebraska's best and brightest. And I've met many of these students and their families, and it is truly gratifying to hear their comments. Just amazing. So we truly have momentum with this program, and an additional investment will allow us to offer more scholarships to our top academic performers. This is an opportunity to send yet another strong message about the state's commitment to keeping Nebraska's top talent here with us. Second is the request for an additional $1.5 million in each year of the biennium for the Nebraska Research Initiative, better known as NRI. As some of you know, this was an effort initially established by Governor Kate Orr several years ago to invest in Nebraska's research capabilities. With NRI funding, we've been able to elevate our competitiveness in areas such as water, bioengineering, plant science, biomedical sciences, all of which are important to our state, and disciplines in which our faculty are among the truly best in the world. Of course, we're full steam ahead with our goal to be recognized by the AAU, as I said earlier, and that will require strategic investments in our resources, exactly as we're proposing here. Additional support for NRI would give us an opportunity to make investments in our research enterprise that support our excellence and our pursuit of AAU recognition. Finally, in this proposal, you will see several capital items as part of our request, including the transfer of existing appropriated funds for Project Health, reappropriation of capital construction funds for the Ag Tech Incubator and Accelerator at Innovation Campus, and planning dollars, critically important planning dollars only, for upgrades to the Peter Kiewit Institute at UNO and a new college of multidisciplinary health science education center hosting the College of Allied Health Professions, the College of Public Health, and others. Both of these facilities will ultimately be funded through public-private partnerships, emphasis on the word private. I would end by saying that we know, and I certainly know, that any time we talk about investments, we must also talk about fiscal discipline. One can't happen without the other. All of us on the leadership team, and I personally want to assure this board that we will make the same promise to all of our elected leaders, the governor, and to every Nebraskan, that we'll be looking carefully at every dollar and we're continuing to actively study our structures and processes to determine what we should look like and how we should operate going forward. The goal is maximum effectiveness and efficiency, and of course, equally important, to be competitive and to win in the classroom, in the research laboratory, on the playing field, and beyond. We're looking forward to continuing that conversation with each of you as we propose and move forward to the upcoming legislative session. Mr. Chairman, with that, the biennial budget requests were reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I do recommend them to you for approval today.
Unless there's an objection, we will vote on items 11B1 and 11B2 together. Is there a motion to approve items?
Second.
Items 11B1 and 11B2. Okay, very good. Any discussion?
Did have some question here. I went back, I think on the Project Health here, the comments here refer back to LB 1107 that was passed. And I went back and reviewed the transcript from the hearings of that bill. And then I visited just a little bit with Regent Shear since he was there at the time. And there was some stipulations, I believe, on the use of that money. And I think, was it based upon the fact that we were waiting on some federal dollars, or can you help me? And has that requisite been met?
The original bill required that the federal government provide funding for the project. States' contribution would happen after that initial dollars were received by the federal government. The dollars have never been received by the university, so they're being held by the state. And I believe what this is going to do is go back and ask the legislature then to allow the university to use those dollars for the building of the new facility, regardless of the federal government's involvement in the project.
Is there?
I believe that is the.
So that is the understanding. Many of us have met with the governor and the governor's staff and members of the body that they are committed to the totality of up to $300 million, up to 15% of the totality of the project, independent of the other sources of capital that would go into the project. And maybe I could ask Mr. Kuborik if you want to comment on that, because you've been involved in these discussions as well.
No, thank you, President Gold. I think what the request will do is start the dialogue with the governor's office and the legislature about how we work through the governmental procedures to unlock that $300 million, which is now in what's called the Transformational Project Fund, knowing as the board will review later today, important next milestone in the project is the approval of the program statement that will be coming before you. So exciting progress. I think this item is just a notion that we intend to have conversations with the governor and the legislature about how best to tap that $300 million of funding based on the legislation that was previously passed.
And we've been in communication, I've personally been in communication with the governor's staff, and others on this matter. They're well aware that this is in our request for this year, and this will be an ongoing dialogue as to get to the finish point.
Does that take an action then basically of the legislative body then to change what was originally intended?
It will require the legislature to amend that bill, that statute, in order to release those funds to a different perspective. Although it's going to be the same project, it's just a different terminology. Yes, it will take legislative action.
Well, then I'm curious. I don't know what federal money we were hoping for. Is there some reason didn't get it? What federal money was it? Can we still get it?
So we are still after it. If you go back to the 2020, 2021, and 22 National Defense Authorization Act, Section 741, There is clearly legislative intent in that authorization bills. Those are not appropriation bills to build one of 5, the first of 5 sites in the United States to serve the federal needs for health security, surge capacity in our nation. As several members of the board know, Regent Schaefer and I have been involved with Dr. Cradaville and others just as recently as this week with the command surgeons of many of the major COCOMs in the United States, and there's a lot of interest in biosecurity and in using our facilities and building a new facility, which was estimated at one time to be as much as $1 billion of investment. There's also ongoing discussion with the Veterans Administration as to whether they wish to relocate facilities as part of this project as well, as is demonstrated by the elevation of that project in the 2024-2025 skip list. So the answer to the question, Regent Wilmot, is there's a lot of work going on to do that. Either way, the project has to be staged just because of the location of what those additional facilities would be, and what will be before you in the program statement phase, as Mr. Kuborik alluded to, will be the planning for the phase 1, better known as Project Health. I underscore purely planning, not construction. But yes, we are actively pursuing the federal components from the Department of Defense, from the Department of Health and Human Services and ASPR, from Homeland Security, and from the VA. These are all active discussions, which is why I and several of our team spend a tremendous amount of time in the Pentagon and in other offices in the Beltway.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to talk briefly about the enthusiasm that I have for the monies that will be used for the Presidential Scholarship as well as the Nebraska Research Initiative. I am a huge fan of what we've done with respect to Chris Kuborik's leadership on the Presidential Scholarship, going out and aggressively and accurately and intentionally trying to pursue these students that have top quality or top ACT scores, and I think we can expand upon that. That's for another day, but that going after those students and telling them that we want them here and showing them that we want them here and aggressively recruiting them to come here is the key. I mean, take a page out of Matt Rule's playbook and how to recruit students. So part of this is going to be the money, but the other part of it is we have to get staffed to pursue these students. And if we think that just because we got the money there that these students are going to come, it ain't going to happen. So part of this is going to be, I'll vote in favor of this, but we have to get off of our fannies and go see these students in their respective communities, in their respective schools, establishing relationships with administrators and principals and superintendents and counselors. These students look to those leaders within their institutions for guidance as to where to go. And we used to be the only show in town. It ain't that way anymore. They're going out, and now we've got money to do this, or we're proposing to get money to do this, but we have to be aggressive in going out and seeing these kids. Matt Rule cannot sit there and expect college student athletes to come to the University of Nebraska. We have got to show interest for them. And so I really am bullish about this, but Chris Kuborik deserves a ton of credit because he went out and aggressively sought these students out, and his success rate was huge. And the benefits for the entire university system by going after these kids is enormous. So I really am excited about this, but I really am going to say we have better staff it and we better be aggressive with a plan of attack as to how we're going to pursue these kids. Secondly, with respect to the investments in the research initiative, I really like this idea. Again, this is exciting because this is an investment. This is not an expenditure as much as it's an investment into programs of excellence, programs that we are going to advance not only the university, but advance the state and the state's economy. The AI discussion we had earlier today, that's a prime example of what these monies can be used for. You know, we've talked historically about the insurance industry. Why can't Nebraska be the insurance capital of the world? We have got an outstanding business college. We've got an outstanding actuary program. We've got outstanding engineering components, outstanding disciplines that can help if there's a collegial effort to work together. We can become that. And I know the private sector would jump in, and I know the state government would jump in too. And so I really encourage this, and I really encourage that this is, as much as this is a budget item, it's also an investment item that we are going to help move the needle for Nebraska's economy into the future. And so I'm really excited about this, but it's going to take work. We cannot expect to sit on either of these initiatives. We cannot expect to sit and expect things to happen. We have got to go after it.
Mr. Chairman, would you allow a comment from this chancellor, please?
Let me think about that.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yes, please.
Regent Claire, yesterday in the audit committee meeting, we had what I thought was a very important and beneficial, robust conversation around a number of topics, one to include our enrollment management strategies that each of the four chancellors presented on. As part of that conversation, we agreed that we have done important work in the space, but there's a lot more work that can be done. And I believe that the chairwoman would report that there was great conversation, great alignment, great commitment to enhancing our efforts in this area and positioning ourselves to have measurable outcomes, which was the takeaway from the meeting that I left with yesterday, of how we do a better job with what you just described. So I don't want you to not be aware of what happened yesterday in audit committee and the commitment from the four of us to work with our teams and to work collaboratively about how to do even better in the out years.
I want to just quickly comment on Project Health and the College of Allied Health, if I may. The Project Health is one that is really critical to providing the next generation of healthcare providers for the state of Nebraska. Right now, as I mentioned yesterday, we have a projection of 5,000 nurses that will be short by next year. And, you know, we're doing a lot of things to try and counter that, but we need all hands on deck. And this is a project that will allow us to, obviously it's not going to happen overnight, but we need to be working towards that goal of making sure that every single county throughout the state of Nebraska has access. Of course, the rural health, you know, Doc Christensen Rural Health Complex would help a lot, but this is another important part of that for our students, faculty, staff to go and get the best training in the world and make sure that we can actually continue to meet the healthcare workforce of our state. Tied to that, the College of Allied Health, you may not be aware, has 14 different health professions in it. And right now they're scattered throughout, you know, the state. There's no home for them. College of Medicine has a home, dentistry has a home, but each of these students have to basically squat, shall I say, in somebody else's building. And they're the fastest growing college. So they're going to need, as we continue to grow and add more programs, which every time we go out to the communities, we hear of the need for more allied health programs, we're going to need a home for them. So that's really an important part of why we're doing this planning now, to make sure we continue to be ready to meet the growing workforce need within the state of Nebraska. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to talk about we get a file that goes from the to the board members and from people from outside, and made me think that, you know, if we have a student from South Dakota with a perfect SAT, should we expand our resources in trying to track them? I know we've had students recruited out of Nebraska by people outside of that, so maybe we need to expand our thought patterns on how we recruit, and even that program and different programs that we do, that we don't forget about the at least the border states that would be easy to attract when we get letters from people that want to come to school here. And for Delhi, I'd also say I'm very, very much in favor of the transformation of the Med Center, and we'll support it today. But we just need more definition on the project in the future, to keep going. So at least for my support.
Okay, Regent Whites.
Yeah, two things. I thank you, Chancellor Bennett, for bringing up yesterday's audit meeting. And what I'd like to say is Interim President Kaborik did more than just go after specific perfect scores. He was talking to groups of students about this scholarship. He was inspiring them to raise the bar on where I got a 32, maybe I can get a 36, and I think it's important that we understand that the ripples of this go far beyond just getting the perfect score. But I look forward to the day when we can do the presidential scholars for other scores as well. And I love the idea of recruiting other people's best and brightest, like ours have been recruited. So I'll be happy to join the hit squad on that. But I do think there's an excitement. There was an excitement in the, hard to say that about audit, isn't it? But I'm really not biting my cheek. There's really an excitement about the potential for the things that we're starting to look at and include in our budget thinking. And I think that forward thinking is critical for our job as regents, and working hard and getting out there, just like President Gold and Interim President Kaborik have done, getting out there and talking to people. I mean, a lot of us belong to organizations that meet regularly, and we could sort of strong arm our way into a little presentation of some kind. But I really agree totally with Regent Claire. This is the work of all of us. It's we can't just send the staff out and say, oh, good luck, we think this is great. We really have to be there with you. And if there are ways in which we can be there with you, I hope you'll include us.
Anyone else?
I would just add back to what Bennett mentioned on the audit committee yesterday, because we had in-depth discussion about the need to get out and be present in the schools, in local communities. I do know, though, one of the comments I think I heard several times was the need for the staff probably to be able to have that kind of reach. We may have to do some creative thinking on how we help them make that happen. But I do think that they have a commitment to that, and I do know that when Interim Kaborik went out, you saw so many headlines. So the headlines will even do a lot of that footwork for you if we have more of a presence. Real important, and I think we can do it if we just decide we're going to.
One thing I wanted to speak about that I don't think has been touched so much yet is the salary pool for faculty. And I think that students depend on the retention of passionate and accomplished faculty, yes, for the knowledge and the connections, but also just for inspiration. So if we want to inspire students to go, for example, into rural medicine, we need to be an attractive employer to providers who love rural medicine, and they love it so much they would rather be practicing rural medicine, but they see a job at the med center as the right job, an attractive offer for them to share that inspiration with students. Also, if we want to inspire graduate students to stay in Nebraska, I think they need to be able to see faculty around them that they think they could continue to grow with. I don't think that students feeling like, they might have outgrown what they can learn here. I don't think that's very conducive to keeping people. So as long as we can keep really passionate, accomplished people, I think our students will follow suit. I wanted to touch a little bit on the College of Allied Health new building. Dr. Davies said a lot of what I was going to say, but I think that one piece of feedback that you would hear from many College of Allied Health students is that they feel scattered right now. They don't have a home, a building, but also with there being 14 colleges, their class sizes are small and often don't get to know the other students in the College of Allied Health. So I think the planning money for this building would work toward giving them more of a sense of community on campus.
Chancellor?
Thank you, Chair. I've been trying to be very measured about what I want to say. I absolutely love the Presidential Scholar. It gets a lot of attention from family and students. I think Nebraska is doing a wonderful service to try to send a credible signal to outstanding students. I also want to think about, in terms of, we have the Scott Scholar, over UNL, we have the Rake Scholar. They are highly established gold standard to create a learning community, to encourage students to continue to thrive. And many of them have a lot of opportunity to go to a lot of Ivy League, but they decide to stay in the state. So when we think forward to think about the Presidential Scholar, I want to make sure we give credit to the donors community. They have done tremendous job to help University of Nebraska to retain the best and the brightest. How are we going forward to operate our resources to make sure that Presidential Scholar or Scott Scholar or Rake Scholar or any other scholar program that we have on all our campuses? It's a very strategic move. And I often think of we have to really think scalable operation because of limited resources. We have to remind ourselves we serve the whole student body. And I graduated with summa cum laude. I have to say, sure, it's great to take care of the best, but let's try to also balance our act to ensure that all the other students are also taken care of. Thank you.
Anyone else? I agree with all the comments about recruitment, especially as a father of what'll be a senior in high school here in just a couple weeks, next week actually. I can tell you the amount of mail and interest that we receive from out-of-state schools, massive compared to what we receive from our in-state schools, especially our public schools. So with that, I think whatever we do, we need to work as a system together. And so I would ask the president to consider what it would look like if we created a vice president of recruiting or some type of cabinet level position here at Varner Hall to lead that effort.
Certainly, the discussions that we had yesterday at the audit committee, I thought were very heartfelt, and clearly the more closely we can work together, the more effective we can be. To your comment, Regent Kinney, every other state in the country is doing everything they can to recruit Nebraskans into their programs, not just our border states. So our job is to be equally competitive and, frankly, to win. So we'll take that recommendation. I think as we start to roll up our sleeves and look at the potential future structural changes of the system, that will open opportunities to look at what the leadership team of the Office of the President will be and to maintain that focus. I think as Chancellor Bennett said, the ability to have very clear strategic metrics around enrollment down to the college, the major, and the departmental level, and to create linear line item accountability for those metrics is the name of the game. We can set institutional goals and campus goals, but until every department, every program head, every faculty member understands what their responsibilities are in these areas, it's going to be very difficult to execute on them. So I appreciate this conversation. And to Chancellor Lee's comments, we have wonderful programs on our campuses for high-performing students. The goal here for the Presidential Scholars Program is to wrap it around a very successful, hopefully residential program with experiential learning, and to continue to recruit the best and the brightest, but also to retain them not only to the day of graduation, but into the future workforce of the state, which is, thank you for that recommendation.
Sure.
Not to throw water on the fire here, but I get the fact that we would like to recruit and coach from other states, but we've also had, visiting with Chris and witnessing activities when we went out recruited these young people in Nebraska that have perfect scores. We also have been contacted by students and parents. My child got a 35. When are we going to be able to do something for a child that gets a 35 or a 34? And it seems to me that we're a Nebraska institution. We should be recruiting Nebraskans. We probably have the best success at recruiting and maintaining Nebraska students than others. It'd be great to have somebody from Sioux Falls come down to Lincoln and go to school, or to Omaha, but chances are they're going to go back to Sioux Falls to live. So unless they're given great opportunities, I'm not going to say you're going to lose them all, but you have a higher percentage of those that you have in. And I think we also need to look at expanding those programs, but more importantly, we need to keep the data on these programs, because what we think is going to happen may not be what is happening. And so I think that the data will lead this program over the next 2 or 3 years as we see how many stay in the program. And once we start getting those that are graduating from the program, how many are maintaining their residence in Nebraska and actually working for Nebraska institutions or companies, that then becomes the payoff for Nebraska as a whole. So,
along with that data, I think we also need to be tracking, like after the graduation, are they getting employment in the area that they majored in? And that would tell us, as we look at some of our programs, whether they're the ones we should be keeping or not. We offer a lot of degrees, but how many of them are actually usable when they get out there, productive degrees, and one that leads to success for their work in the future? And it'd be easy to put all that together, and that data will help us in many areas.
Okay, anyone else? Please call the roll.
Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin? Yes. Regent Schroeder?
Yes.
Regent Clare?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B3 seeks your approval and authorization to execute a 3-year Microsoft campus agreement for the University of Nebraska with Dell as their reseller. Microsoft is a key partner and supplier to the University of Nebraska system. This proposed 3-year agreement provides access to Microsoft software and continues existing unlimited use licenses for all faculty, staff, and students. The university's costs under this agreement are based upon the number of licenses and services used each year, and the project budget is established as a not-to-exceed amount over the 3-year term. This agreement is offered under a contract competitively bid, including all of our campuses, by the Midwestern Higher Education Compact, which was then awarded to Dell. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval today.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B3?
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder?
Yes.
Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark? Yes. Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B4 seeks your approval of a budget increase and municipal funding partnership for the Westbrook Music Building replacement project at UNL. The City of Lincoln has allocated up to $350,000 of funding to cover 100% of the cost to design and construct streetscape improvements on the east side of the 10th Street, generally between Q and R Streets. These improvements will provide a larger pedestrian sidewalk and a buffer zone adjacent to the campus and the Westbrook Music Building. To complete these improvements, the budget for the Westbrook project needs to be increased to capture the additional costs of work to be funded by the city. The planned streetscape improvements will be a benefit for both the university and the city enhancing the area aesthetically while improving safe connectivity for students, faculty, staff, and visitors to campus. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B4?
No. Second.
Discussion?
I just had some questions about, so what is the cost exactly to us?
That's something, yes, go ahead.
If I might, maybe I'll ask Mike Zelny, who's been sort of the point person on this project for UNL, to come to the podium, if that's acceptable.
Regent Wilmot, there's no cost to the university. It's fully funded by the city. And in fact, if we don't do this, it would happen after the project. So then we would incur a cost and the city would incur more cost. So we're asking that we do this as part of the project instead of after. So it costs us nothing and actually saves the city money too.
I was going to say, I thought it looked like the city, but then we had the amounts down here, so I was like, okay. And then
we will increase the cost of our project by up to $350,000, but that will all be funded by the city.
all funded by the city. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Call the roll.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju? Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Yes. Regent Kenny?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B5 seeks your approval and authorization to name the new Feedlot Center at UNL located at the Eastern Nebraska Research, Extension, and Education Center near Meade, Nebraska as the Klosterman Feedlot Innovation Center. John and Beth Klosterman of David City, Nebraska, are longtime supporters of the university, and in particular, supporters of the Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources. And I note that their daughter Meg is with us today, and thank you so much for being here. Contributing to the cattle industry as cattle feeders and conservationists, John served as the first president of the Nebraska Cattlemen, Ag 40, and Agricultural Builders, better known as Ag Builders, of Nebraska. John was also instrumental in the formation of INR in 1973. With this naming, the university expresses its deepest gratitude and appreciation to the Klosterman's generous gift in support of the Feedlot Innovation Center. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I, too, commend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B5?
So moved.
Any discussion? I concur. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju? Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Yes. Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B6 seeks your ratification of Amendment 1 to the Standard Form Construction Agreement between owner and construction manager for construction and extended pre-construction services for the Leeds Center for Performing Arts renovation and addition at UNL. On December 3rd, 2021, the Board of Regents approved the program statement for the Leeds Center for Performing Arts renovation and addition at UNL, including approval of the project budget. In order to minimize impacts to the Leeds performance schedule, a portion of the construction phase was run concurrently with the ongoing pre-construction services, which required an amendment to the existing agreement. Although the amendment was included in the Board of Regents' report on bids and contracts presented to the board last fall, because the amendment involved an increase of over $1 million, it triggered the requirement for approval by the board today. Therefore, UNL requests that the amendment be ratified by the Board of Regents. This item was also reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve agenda item 11B6? Discussion?
So the 2 million buys what? More restrooms? 3 change orders. Somebody, I mean,
Rare for me, but I may have to defer. Mike, are you aware of exactly what the additional cost is going to?
It was an addition of restrooms last year.
Anyone else?
Regent Kennedy, did that answer your?
probably. Spent before it was approved?
Beg your pardon?
Spent before it was approved?
The project categories ended up being a little bit over the threshold. The Lead Center experience, and so the facilities is now bringing it forward to make sure it's within the compliance with the board policy. But the budget was approved in advance.
Yeah, I remember the 25 million.
Okay. Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Regent Adidam? Yes. Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B7 requests your approval of the naming of the plaza adjacent to the Osborne Legacy Complex as the Sandhills Global Plaza. Nebraska Athletics seeks to name the exterior plaza located near the all-athlete lobby entrance of the Osborne Legacy Complex as the Sandhills Global Plaza in recognition of a very generous donation by Sandhills Global in support of Nebraska Athletics. With the naming of this area, the university expresses its deepest gratitude and appreciation for Sandhills Global's general support. This item was reviewed by the Executive Committee, and I commend it to you for your approval today.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B7?
I'll make it.
Okay. Discussion? Regent Shear?
Well, I just want to take the opportunity to thank the Pete family for their long-standing support. But that and other philanthropic work they've done seems a fitting recognition.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Regent Devaraju? Yes. Regent Herbin? Yes. Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Stark? Yes. Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Yes. Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B8 seeks your approval and authorization to execute an amendment to the multimedia rights agreement with Playfly. The university and Playfly wish to amend the current multimedia rights agreement to include a, quote, health system and/or hospital category, unquote, in the rights retained by the university, and accordingly reduce the annual rights fee to enable the university to directly provide sponsorship and promotional rights to a sponsor in that category. This item was reviewed by the Executive Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve agenda item 11B8?
Move.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam? Yes.
Regent Deverajou?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B9 seeks your approval for the program statement for Project Health at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Phase 1 of Project Next, referred to as Project Health, Building the Healthiest Nebraska, provides a needed campus enhancement to UNMC's research, education, clinical, and community service missions at the main campus in Omaha, and will have an effect that ripples widely across the state. This item will ultimately replace the inpatient teaching space in Clarkson Tower and in other areas that were constructed in 1955, including the associated patient and visitor parking, as well as the emergency department and diagnostic spaces located in the Hickson Lead Center. This new facility will provide primary and quaternary care environments for UNMC and Nebraska medicine, including clinical care, research in the clinical setting, and, most importantly, medical, nursing, pharmacy, dentistry, and allied health education venues that will be truly world-class. Project Health will provide the appropriate amount of room, support, and ancillary space to continue the mission of educating and training Nebraskan future healthcare professionals. UNMC is seeking the approval of the program statement alone, and again, underscore, we're not talking construction, we're talking planning and the program statement and finalizing of the capital stack just for Phase 1, as well as the authority to spend $50 million of existing philanthropic funds only to finalize the validation phase and to continue design and cost estimation work that will be brought back to the Board of Regents. This is truly an important and exciting step forward for us, and we continue to believe that Project Next will unquestionably have a transformational impact on the state of Nebraska. I know that the entire Med Center team in the state of Nebraska shares our commitment to this effort, and with your approval today, we are very pleased to take this next step in making our vision for Project Next a reality. For those that may be interested, we actually have a three-dimensional computer-printed model of what the first phase, Project Health, will likely look like for your review. This item has been presented in various stages to every Business and Finance Committee meeting and to every Academic Affairs Committee meeting for the last 18 months or more. This item was reviewed in detail by the Business and Finance Committee at its last meeting, and with great pride, I recommend it to you for your approval today.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B9?
Move.
Any discussion?
I just have some things for clarification. So the 50 million that they're requesting approval of right now is that basically for the professional consultant fees at this point?
Jennifer.
Jenny, do you want to comment? You may know Ms. Jen Bartholomew, who is the Vice President for Facilities for Nebraska Medicine and for UNMC, who's the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer on this project.
Yes, Regent Wilmot, the $50 million will cover fees. It will cover with all of the consultants, which are numerous, design consultants, engineering consultants, as well as our project management consultants and support for the overall project. It will do some initial site surveys, some soil surveys, and background information you need in order to really start to put together a detailed budget to bring through validation phase.
It will not include any construction components.
Correct.
I understand that. And then I'm curious, this is all philanthropic monies, and where are we at on what we have raised thus far?
This is all philanthropic funds at this point in time. As shared in the committee meetings, we have, pulling up my numbers here so I don't misspeak. From a capital sourcing perspective, we believe we have committed funds for just under $1 billion of what is needed for this project, but that will all be done through validation phase. We will work on making sure all of that is available to be spent. And as you see, the intermediate design reviews come forward for your consideration. We will always make sure we have a source of funds matched to those requests. And that will all be additional information that comes at the intermediate design phase.
So the under 1 billion isn't really here yet, but we
Aspects
think
of
it's
it are,
coming.
and some of it are going through final documentation processes.
I had one more thing. And it doesn't really probably involve you, but I know Dr. Gold last night, you said that you're about the fact that probably we have some on-loan artwork for the house at Tuscan Court. And
Yes.
I was looking at the artwork budget line that's projected for this project. And I guess I had a thought of wondering, with all of our art students, et cetera, and then if you could combine that with some companies or artists that might be willing to donate, maybe we could control that figure a little.
Well, Jen can comment on this.
Oh.
I believe there is a 1% for art requirement for all use of public funds. That doesn't mean that we couldn't invest that in our faculty and staff and students to create that artwork as well. It usually goes through an arts commission public process. Maybe Jen, you'd comment on that.
Yeah, you are correct. There is a 1% requirement on state funds for artwork on any project, but we do go through the Healing Arts program and make those selections as a part of the process. We will also evaluate the ability for philanthropic and others to be involved in the art selection throughout the building. And certainly in this space, we look at the artwork also as a healing environment and a reflection point for the faculty, staff, and the students in this space. So it is actually a part of the research and the experience in these buildings.
Okay.
I'd like to talk a little more about the need for the project. So as a med student, I frequent Clarkson Tower quite a lot. I'd say that of all the students and trainees at UNMC, Clarkson Tower is probably where 60-70% of our patients are that we see regularly. And the fact that the building is not designed for learners ends up impacting our education quite a lot. I'd say that most of the time there's not room in a patient's room for more than the most crucial people to go in. That would be the doctor, the senior resident, the nurse. So often, if you walk the halls of Clarkson, you will see, teams of 5, 6, 7 students crowding around the door of a room, trying to hear what's being said. So these are the kinds of problems that this would alleviate. As far as hallways, teams are big. The hallways aren't really set up for large teams, which are double in size because of learners, to pass by each other even. So there's a big need. As far as when students choose where to go for school, we often consider how updated the facilities are, but also there are lots of online communities where people talk about how students are treated, how meaningful students are to a care team. And I think that these updated facilities would help give the impression that UNMC is a place where students are a meaningful part of the care team, even though they're just students. To make sure that, the med student isn't sitting on the trash can anymore, and we can actually come in and listen to the counseling that we will in a few years have to do ourselves. So I think this is very, very important for students.
Regent Shear.
Well, sometimes we think we're doing things quickly and sometimes we do things slowly. I remember meeting with Jeff 6-7 years ago.
Can you pull your mic up?
I remember meeting with Jeff 6 or 7 years ago on this as a project and a vision. And I'm now here 7 years and we're still talking about the vision. If we're going to do things, we need to start moving at maybe a little quicker pace. And a lot of things have happened over that period of time, so I'm not trying to say anything was held up intentionally, but we need to start being able to facilitate quicker means of action so that we are closer on the cutting edge than following behind and being the ones that copy somebody else that's already took the innovation forward. And I don't disagree. Who knows why, but I was thinking, you're talking about Clarkson. I'm 70, I'll be 71. And when I was 4, I had to have eye surgery. And it was at Clarkson. And it was the new, really nifty place. That was a hell of a long time ago, believe me. And I have to tell you, just an aside, one of those things as a kid I've remembered my whole life, because the nurses at that point in time were way ahead of their times, because they came in to get me for my surgery, and instead of a gurney, they had made a car out of a bed, and I had a steering wheel on it, and said, okay, you can drive down to the room, and I was in there. I thought that was great. And I remember them, this is no lie, I mean, I'm 4 years old, but I still remember, the nurse took time to tell me, she said, when you come back to the room, you're going to be a pirate for a couple days because you won't be able to see out of your one eye. So don't be afraid when you wake up, because you're going to be playing the pirate for the next 3 or 4 days. I remember that night when I woke up, I wasn't afraid at all. I could see out of one eye, but I was the pirate, so I knew. And, all that kind of stuff, and which is an aside to what we're talking about. But anyway, I want to applaud Jeff for the vision that he had at the time. But I want to also encourage us to move, and not too quickly, because you can move too fast and make mistakes. But we have the opportunity to be a leader in world health. And I just don't want to see us squander it and fall behind again, so.
Okay, thank you. Good comments. Chancellor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to reiterate one more point. Regent Kenny, you asked earlier about, wanting more detail around what this is all about. I really believe that this $50 million will hopefully get us there. Yesterday, we spoke a lot at the audit committee about artificial intelligence and what that could do. Right now, the spaces we have don't allow us to be innovative. One of the key things we want to make sure is that we're on the leading edge, having a healthcare space that can allow us to innovate. So part of what we've been doing ahead of time is actually designing spaces that are giving us an insight of what we may be doing in this new building. So if we're looking at how we can use the space itself to be part of how we teach. You may remember yesterday we talked about, for example, a lot of time physicians, nurses spend charting, which is really an enormous amount of time, takes away from the ability to actually do what they've been trained to do, which is to take care of patients. But if we can think about the healthcare space of the future, where perhaps as you're able to capture information in real time using things like AI, and then allow the physicians and healthcare providers to do what they were trained to do, that's what this is all about. And I think the way right now, a lot of the spaces in Clarkson right now, you have more than one patient in a room. You can't really do, the kinds of innovative things we want to do, you can't do because of privacy, right? If you're trying to sort of capture the kind of information and think about the healthcare space of the future, we have to design the spaces very differently and make the building part of the healing. And a lot of that work is already going, but there's a lot of research that's going on right now. And we want every trainee in the country to want to come here and say, this is where the cutting edge type of healing training is going on, and we want to be seen as a leader where other people come and copy what we're doing. So thank you for the opportunity.
Regent Stark.
I spent my whole career working for, with, and around the Med Center. And we had our meeting yesterday of the Health Affairs. And it was very clear in talking to the head of neurosurgery and neurology that we're losing faculty because we don't have facilities. And facilities are the first step. Facilities bring in faculty. Faculty brings in research money. Research money brings in learning. And this is the biggest project in the last 50 years. And when we had previous facility building like the Durham Research Centers, the medical center took off. That was a huge boost. This will be triple, quadruple of that. So I'm very enthusiastic. And I talk to people all the time. They ask us, what do you do as a regent? What's it about? But I say, well, we're trying to double the size of the medical school. That gets people's attention because we got a shortage everywhere. So I'm appreciative of Dr. Gold's leadership in this process, and thanks everybody for supporting it.
Kenny?
Chancellor, that's one of the things that, I really appreciate is what do we need now as a student? What do we need in the future? And how do you define that? So that's, some of the things I need to, really get behind everything. And I think everyone needs to know and stay in Nebraska. This is what we're after.
Anyone else? I will tell you, I spent the day, was it Tuesday, with President Gold and Dr. Cradaville meeting with about 30 military members from across the country. And we were fortunate enough to be able to break away for about an hour and run over to the Innovation Design Unit, and which is about approximately halfway through completion at this point in time. But to be able to see that work in progress and just get a feel for what it's going to be for the future of healthcare, it was breathtaking. And I can tell you it's going to be an extraordinary facility when it's done. And so I would encourage any of the board members, when they get an opportunity, if they're up that way, to take a look at it. Or do we have a meeting coming up or an event at UNMC sometime later this year?
Oh, but we'll schedule one. The IDU, the Innovation Design Unit, will open in January of 25, but we'll have formal ribbon cutting in advance of that. And Regent Schaefer, I think back over my 10+ years here. 10 years ago, from a national quality and safety ranking perspective, and not that ranking and rating means everything, but at that time, our primary clinical partner, Nebraska Medicine, was ranked 93rd out of 150 or 155 institutions in our tier, which include institutions such as Hopkins and Stanford and Mayo and others. For the last several years, we've been in the top 10, not in the top 10th percentile, but in the top 10. This year, we're the 8th highest quality safety institution in the United States. And that is a cultural change, and that's without transformation of the facility. Just think what we can do to be literally national and world leaders in the education space, in the clinical research space, and indeed to serve the people of this great state of Nebraska.
With that, are there any other comments? If not, please call the roll.
Regent Schroeder.
Yes.
Regent Adidam.
Yes.
Regent Devaraju.
Yes.
Regent Herbin. Regent Wilmot.
Yes.
Regent Clare.
Yes.
Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor.
Yes.
Regent Schaefer.
Yes.
Regent Shear.
Yes.
Regent Stark. Yes. Regent Whites.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you most sincerely. Item 11B11 seeks your approval of the, item 11B10, we need to do that first, seeks your approval and authorization to execute the Midtown Medical Center Bikeway Connection Interlocal Cooperation Agreement with the City of Omaha. The City of Omaha Public Works Department received a grant funding through the Federal Highway Administration Transportation Alternatives Program, that's a bit of a mouthful, for funding of a dedicated bikeway along Emily Street and Jones Street between Saddle Creek Road and 39th Street, along 39th Street and through the UNMC campus. Through the support of Congressman Don Bacon, who's been incredibly helpful, UNMC secured an additional grant to complete the bikeway and associated pedestrian overpasses over Leavenworth Street and Saddle Creek Road. Under this proposed interlocal agreement, the city will administer the project, and the ongoing operation and maintenance responsibilities are also set forward in the agreement. This item was reviewed by Business and Finance Committee and all those who ride bikes, and I recommend it to you for approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B10? Okay. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Adidam? Yes. Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin? Yes. Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Clare? Yes. Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear? Regent Stark? Regent Whites?
Yes?
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B11 seeks your approval of the thermal energy storage infrastructure project at UNMC. UNMC uses chilled water from the central and east utility plants to cool the vast majority of campus building assets. In order to increase capacity to meet campus demands and to have redundancy requirements, UNMC proposes to install a thermal energy storage system. The thermal energy storage system will not only allow UNMC to meet capacity needs, but will allow charging even in the evening hours, thus lowering peak energy consumption and lowering costs. UNMC seeks approval of the project and the authority to spend up to $3.5 million for preliminary design and budget validation only, again, not construction. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval today.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B11?
So moved.
Discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent Herbin?
Yes.
Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear? Yes. Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes?
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Yes. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B12 seeks your ratification of the standard form construction agreement with Valley Corporation for the Saddle Creek Public Improvements Project at UNMC. The construction agreement between the university and Valley Corporation for the construction of infrastructure improvements along Saddle Creek Road was executed following the board's approval of the project at its February 11th, 2022 meeting. Although the contract was included in the report on bids and contracts presented to the board last fall, because it exceeded $5 million, it now triggers the requirement for approval by the board. Therefore, UNMC requests the ratification of the contract. This item was reviewed by the Executive Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval today.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B12?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Herbin? Yes. Regent Schroeder? Yes. Regent Adidam?
Yes.
Regent Devaraju?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor? Yes. Regent Schaefer?
Yes.
Regent Shear?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes?
Regent Wilmot?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Regent Kenny?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B13 seeks your approval and authorization to execute an amendment to the license to manage and operate, university dining services with Sodexo America LLC at UNO. At its December 2nd, 2022 meeting, the Board of Regents approved the execution of the agreement with Sodexo to operate dining services at UNO. The proposed amendment changes the term to a one-year base term through August 31st, 2025, subject to the right of the university to extend the term up to an additional two additional one-year periods. The amendment also includes agreed-upon branded concepts to be implemented at UNO. Any surplus at the end of each year after UNO's operational costs are subtracted shall be equally shared between UNO and Sodexo. Deficits shall be borne by UNO. Existing elements of the contract, including capital contributions by Sodexo, all remain in place. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B13?
Oh, so moved.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Schroeder. Yes. Regent Adidam.
Yes.
Regent Devaraju.
Yes.
Regent Herbin. Yes. Regent Schaefer.
Yes.
Regent Shear. Yes. Regent Stark.
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
Regent Wilmot.
Yes.
Regent Clare. Yes. Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor. Yes. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11B14 seeks your approval and authorization to execute a standard form construction agreement with AVI SPL for the UNK-UNMC Douglas A. Christensen Rural Health Education Complex in Kearney. AVI SPL was identified as the audiovisual integrator for the Rural Health Center. Under the proposed agreement with AVI SPL, they will design and install AV solutions to achieve coordination and collaboration between UNMC operations across the state, including and specifically with the Davis Global Center in Omaha. The contract amount is completely within the approved technology budget for this project. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I commend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve item 11B14?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Regent Adidam. Yes. Regent Devaraju.
Yes.
Regent Herbin. Yes. Regent Schroeder. Yes. Regent Shear.
Yes.
Regent Stark.
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
Regent Wilmot.
Yes.
Regent Clare. Yes. Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor. Yes. Regent Schaefer.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. So that does conclude the administrative agenda. There are 7 reports that are appended to the materials for your review today.
I accept the reports listed in the agenda on behalf of the board. There being no further business, and if there's no objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you.